One simply couldn't ignore the Mega Man franchise back in the day. It stood for the classic Capcom quality and offered top-notch technology combined with excellent gameplay. Naturally, several titles also made their way onto the Game Boy. How does the third installment fare? What's the worth of Mega Man? The game was developed by Capcom and was released in 1993 in our region. It came out in the USA and Japan in '92, where, as always, it's known as Rockman World 3. Later, it also found its way to the 3D's Virtual Console. Each Mega Man entry on the Game Boy has its own unique twist, while the core formula remains constant. In this installment, that formula is tweaked a bit. The sliding mechanic on the ground was introduced by the predecessor. Here, you can now charge up your standard arm cannon in different stages. At first glance, the scope seems somewhat limited. You can choose from just 4 bosses along with their respective levels in the typical Mega Man fashion. As always, the big question is the order in which you tackle these, because defeating a boss rewards you with their weapon, which follows the rock-paper-scissors principle and is particularly effective against another boss. You need to figure out which boss you can handle reasonably well with your normal weapon and then proceed accordingly. But once you've defeated these initial 4, there are 4 more waiting. So there's a total of 8 bosses with their thematic levels plus Dr. Wily's castle. There's more content here than you might initially think. The levels are, as expected from the series, brilliantly designed and quite challenging. Every now and then, there are wonderful quirks, like in this level where these orbs above gradually suck out all the light from the entire area. Once you defeat them, the light returns and you can continue normally. As expected, the controls here are excellently implemented and responsive. If you make a mistake, you definitely can't blame the game for it. The difficulty level, as hinted earlier, isn't exactly a walk in the park, but that's what you'd expect from the series. But of course, that's a matter of taste. Your progress is saved after defeating a boss in the form of a password. Technically, this game delivers a visual spectacle. The graphics are fantastic, featuring many animated tiles. Enemies are large and impressively animated. And then there's that excellent soundtrack. Definitely one of the Game Boy's technically strong titles. So, what's the verdict on Mega Man? It's E for the Game Boy today. I'm really impressed with the game. It's a clear step up from its predecessor. Especially on the technological front, a lot has been improved. So if you're up for a solid platformer, you can't go wrong with this one.